Yeah.
Yo, am I back now?
Yeah, you're back. I can hear you now.
Jeez. Okay. OBS never closed. Oh no, the stream finished. Yo, I don't know what just happened.
Yeah, if you just, I think you have enough time to just kick start it and it'll just like launch again. I hope.
Right now it pulled up like the YouTube page saying that it finished, and it asked if I wanted to edit the video because I guess it converted now.
Okay.
Damn, that's a.
I know Twitch is good with that. You're allowed to like jump right back up again, but I don't know how YouTube is.
Damn, that's a. Oh, I guess YouTube started a new link.
Okay.
I didn't even. Okay.
I'll tell him in the chat.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Did your computer freeze or?
No, it was just the Wi-Fi. Like it just randomly dropped.
Oh, okay, that's trash.
And I haven't even been having problems. Let me see. Let's see. Has YouTube done that to you? Like your stream ends and it just automatically starts another one?
Yep.
What?
So I don't like YouTube streaming too much.
Shit, I'm feeling that. Let me see.
Do you use OBS, Streamlabs OBS, or just OBS?
I use regular OBS right now.
Regular OBS, okay.
I used to use Streamlabs OBS, but it was acting weird.
It does get a little wacky from time to time.
I think we're gonna be good to continue in a sec. But Lord Vegeta, appreciate the 5 gifted, bro. Oh man, what were we last even talking about? Do you remember?
I was asking why Law would join Cross Guild.
Oh,
what was his? Is it for revenge? Like, what's his motivation?
Okay, yeah, we'll pick up from that. Okay, so with Law joining Cross Guild, we know like chapter 996, he said he wanted to learn the checkered fate for Kotazone. So you know, even though like he lost his ship and he lost his crew, I feel like Law would, you know, just deal with it and try to find some kind of way to continue forwards. Like I don't think Law's gonna be like, oh, you know what, forget it, I give up. Like there's going to be some kind of reason that he's propelled forwards. So with Buggy saying that he wants to find the One Piece, he would obviously have to go to Laugh Tale. And, you know, for him, for Law to learn the checkered fate, he would go to Laugh Tale too. So I feel like they have like that common goal right there.
I mean, I can see it. I think it would be a big character shift for Law, I think, in terms of like where the people that he's normally allied with, but it would be a new dynamic on his character. It'd be a little Kuzan-ish in a way, just a little bit.
What do you mean by?
You would say that?
Like, kind of like
what Kuzan's doing with Blackbeard right now? Like he has his own agenda for being with Blackbeard, so it's like a new spin on his character. That's what I'm saying. Like it's a little Kuzan-ish, you know?
Okay, I definitely, yeah, I see that. Okay. Do you think that would be a bad thing?
It could be a bad thing, but it's like anything can be good or bad. It's just how it's executed. Like Oda would have to put a spin. He'd have to put a unique spin on Law's character and probably reveal something that we didn't know about him already, right? So I think it could work. I'm not against the idea.
Okay.
So yeah.
Another thing I wanted to ask you earlier, because you mentioned Crocodile. Do you have him high right now in terms of power scaling? I don't know, you know, exactly how you feel about Crocodile.
I have him as strong as any first commander, maybe higher. But definitely as strong as a first commander. So, you know, wherever you want to place the Kings and Katakuris of the world. I mean, I have Katakuri pretty high, I ain't gonna lie. I think Katakuri is stronger than Crocodile. So, like, let's just say, like, between 20 and 30, I have him, if we're doing the top 30.
Okay. Yeah, that's understandable. So you would consider him as, like, a character that redeemed himself?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you look at someone like Rob Lucci, right? And look how much he developed. Now, Luffy is basically, you know, a god in the One Piece verse right now. So like I don't use Luffy as a barometer for scaling characters. I just feel like it's unfair because story tax, right?
Right.
So when you look at Rob Lucci from a standalone, my man improved considerably, right?
Mm-hmm.
To a legitimate new world fighter. And when you look at Crocodile, I feel the same. Like I feel like Crocodile has elevated himself to a point where he can now command the respect of someone like Mihawk, and this is the same Mihawk that Zoro fans, Rayleigh fans across the world be like, oh my god, if Shanks is this strong, Mihawk's that strong. I'm like, all right, so what does that say about Crocodile? What's that say about him?
That's the important one.
It's the truth. You can't gas up Mihawk without gassing up Crocodile. So no matter what happens, we win. So that's all I'm saying. Crocodile up there. I'm not saying he's the strongest, but he's up there.
I mean, that seems to be why he brought. That's why Oda brought him back into the story. He's not putting him in the Cross Guild for no reason. Like Cross Guild's gonna have to amount to really big things. So they're gonna get into some kind of fight. They're probably even gonna run into the final road Poneglyph, whether they get it or not. Like, do you agree with that sentiment? Like they're gonna have their hands in the big plays?
Well, yeah, they're definitely going to. Like, there's gonna be one because it's kind of happening right now. Like, think about everything that's happening in the world. Shanks just beat Kid. Blackbeard just beat Law. Luffy is fighting the Seraphim, but there's an extra element I'm forgetting. I guess he's gonna be fighting an Admiral soon, right?
Gorosei.
Right?
Is that what you're saying?
Gorosei, probably the Gorosei, yeah. Goroseis are pulling up the Luffy, so there's things happening all over the world. Not to exclude what the hell's going on with that Kuma. What the hell's going on with Lelouch or Leloucia? I can say Leloucia. Probably gonna make fun of me for saying it that way. The revolutionaries, like there's so many things going on in the world right now where Cross Guild being a part of the whole mix now is different because they're gonna be moving and people are gonna be like, yo, what are Cross Guild doing? Cross Guild could be, for all you know, heading to Elbaf. What if Mihawk runs into Shanks? Mihawk's like, yo, I want to see Shanks. I think he has the last Poneglyph. And all of a sudden, you got a Mihawk and Shanks altercation. That would be like a curveball. Like that would be a curveball Oda could throw.
That'd be a wild one.
Yes. And then to Shavante, yes, I am a chapter behind right now, which is still kind of wild. I don't know. I'm doing a double live reaction. That's why.
Wait, so you haven't read the chapter? You just haven't reacted?
No, I have not read the chapter.
Oh, shit.
I've not read the chapter.
Appreciated Vegeta with the 5, Terrible TJ with the 2, like the stream, y'all, appreciate it. And then Lord Vegeta with another super chat, agenda piece till I die, hashtag Vegapunk is a fraud.
I'm screaming talk.
What does he mean by Vegapunk is a fraud?
That's a new agenda. I haven't called him a fraud yet, but maybe this is something we'll have to investigate. Like, why would Vegapunk be a fraud? Like, what do you think? I mean, is he a fraud because his own creation betrayed him?
Oh, yeah, I'm unsure how I feel about the York thing. What do you think?
Well, York, I didn't see it coming. I think it was a good twist. I liked it. I kind of liked the whole mantra behind it, where the whole story started with the whole Egghead Island story started with Vegapunk talking about, I'm trying to create this renewable energy source for the world, and everyone should be better. Everyone will be better if we just all adopt science and build for a better humanity. It's all this whole egalitarian utopian complex of scientists, right? Scientists believe everything can be solved with science by an equation, by creating enough for everybody. The fact that his very own creation, to me, I found it very ignorant because he underestimates the pride and hubris, hubris of humans. So as a result, he separates himself into, what are they, 6 of? They're not the 7 deadly sins, are they?
Yeah, 7 deadly sins. Well, I guess there's 6 Vegapunks though.
There's 6 Vegapunks, right? So then, I think there was another term for it, but basically, you know where I'm going here.
Yeah.
It's a shame that he wasn't able to see the fact that humanity could creep into one of his satellites. And the fact that York was like, well, I want to be a Gorosei. That's why I betrayed you. I want status. I want power. I'm like, hey, Vegapunk, you're a fraud. You should have known this was going to happen. But you've been living in your own world thinking that everything's going to be okay when you're not watching the world around you. Like, this is what York did is exactly what's wrong with the world in the first place. You can't have that happy-go-lucky mentality when you live in this world. And it was naive. And I don't blame him for being naive, because look what he can do. Like, he knew he could change the world. So his ability to change the world blinded him from those that might betray him in front of him. And you know the age-old term, it be your own niggas. Well, this is it, right? This is the moment. This is where it happens. Like, it's always the people closest to you that can hurt you the most, which is so scary, but those people can also help you the most. So you're like, you have to just be aware your entire life, you know, especially in the One Piece world. We're talking about like fantasy world. I'm not trying to get all like spiritual, but like, I think it was very good of Oda to show Vegapunk that you really have been living in the fantasy world, and this is what the real world looks like. And I'm waiting for the time where Luffy has to confront that as well, because Luffy has kind of just beat his way through everything. I think there needs to be a time where Luffy himself is challenged. Like, I think that's Blackbeard is that. Yeah. I think it's Egghead, but I actually think it's Blackbeard. And I'm going to tell you why. If you look at Blackbeard and Luffy, right? Ohara talked about this. I think we've all talked. 3-4, I'd be shocked if you haven't. Luffy and Blackbeard are two sides of the same coin. We can agree on that. You know what I'm saying? Like, we've all said the same. We've all said the thing, right? That's the thing to us. So I know that. Blackbeard embodies everything that Luffy embodies, but on an evil, in a chaotic evil standpoint, while Luffy is a chaotic good standpoint. There's no neutral. But when they meet, Luffy's gonna be like, yo, I hate everything you did, and Blackbeard's gonna be like, bro, I'm just being free. I just do what I want, just like you. True. What makes you better than me? And Luffy's gonna be like, shit, you're right. And I want Luffy to actually think about that for a second, because think about everything Luffy's done. He went to Fishman Island, right? Caused chaos, goes to Whole Cake Island, destroys everything. It's all in the name of good. Skypiea destroys everything. Everywhere Luffy goes, there's chaos and destruction, but it's all for a good cause. Everywhere Blackbeard goes, there's chaos and destruction, not for a good cause, for his good cause. Yeah, that's it. You know. So for me, Luffy should tackle Blackbeard in a way where he acknowledges, I'm a pirate, and all I'm doing is doing what I want and being free. You're a pirate. All I'm doing is doing what I want and be free. And they just box it out like two grown men. That's what I want to see. But I don't think Luffy understands that just yet, because there's always some noble cause behind it. I want Luffy to put the noble cause down like he did with Katakuri and just throw hands and just call it a day. And the reason we came here is because I feel like Vegapunk has the same syndrome as Luffy, where he feels like as long as I have my fists, everything's going to be okay. I just don't think that's going to be the case. I think there's going to be a case where Luffy is going to have to meet Blackbeard as a pirate and not some kind of savior. And that's what I'm waiting for.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like Luffy and Vegapunk are both suffering from like tunnel vision, basically. You know, they're like, oh, I want this and everything's going to be this way. And like what you said, they're not paying attention to the surroundings. Wow, that's, yeah, I 100% agree. And, you know, with Egghead, I think it's really surprising that they're sending out a Gorosei. Like, that's basically unheard of. And you had like that little offhand comment about like checking the tea to make sure it wasn't poisoned. Like, Oda's making it a really big deal that a Gorosei is coming out to the battlefield. So, you know, just off basic principle, basic pattern, we know Luffy always takes on the top guy. Do you feel like Luffy and Gorosei will butt heads? Is that like a, oh, definitely will happen? Or do you think someone else will? Or like, what? How do you feel about that?
If he does, I would want him. If Luffy's gonna fight a Gorosei, I would want the Gorosei to show something. To show something that would shock Luffy, because they can't lose, not yet. So if Luffy fights a Gorosei, he can't win either. So then, what would a Gorosei have that no one else has? That's something I'd want to see. That's the only way I would accept a Luffy fighting a Gorosei. If they have something that Oda has not shown yet that they're capable of, that's something I would want to see.
Okay. Have you heard about the elemental hockey thing? Are you into that at all?
Yep. Yeah, Part told me all about it.
Because I was thinking like, yo, what if the Gotisei are just insane with Haki? You know, being that like they're the world leaders in a sense.
Right. That's what was coming to my mind, but I'm like, another level? We already got advanced conquerors. Like what would be more than that besides like maybe Haki manipulation, right? Like what if you're manipulating the Haki?
Armament killer.
You know, armament killer, stuff like that. Imagine you're doing like bloodbending, but with Haki.
Bloodbending with Haki's insane. You'd be unstoppable.
You know what I mean? Oh yeah, that's what I'm saying. But as the girls say, yeah, as they should be.
A shout out to Mind Blown Questions with the 8 months, bro. Appreciate you, bro. Angie with the 5 gifted memberships. Appreciate you guys. All right, so you just said something a second ago that like sparked a question in my head. Do you think that Gotisei and Emu are gonna all be like Devil Fruit users, or do you just see them as like straight Haki men? Like, what runs through your mind when you think about like their fighting style, or do you not think they're gonna fight like some of them?
Fine with the Gorosei being political players for the most part, with a vast amount of knowledge, because knowledge is power at the end of the day. Emu, I think Emu has a very special power. I don't know if Emu is exactly a combatant, but Emu has a power that's so broken that it doesn't matter. Emu doesn't have to be a combatant because of the power alone. So that's the way I perceived him. I mean, there is the Gandhi Gorosei with his sword, so maybe he got some tech. And if they are all fighters, I mean, it would make sense. They would have to be Haki. To answer your question, it would have to be Haki, not Devil Fruits. That would be the straight up answer.
Oh man, then I agree. Like they would have to be showing something new, but it's just like
we haven't seen before. Yeah.
I don't know what you would even create besides like the armament killer, a conqueror's killer. That would be insane. Conqueror's killer.
Well, that would be kind of wild, actually.
That would have to be like one character in the story has that ability or some shit.
But then my question is like, why not deal with Gold Roger?
Oh, that's a good question.
And that's why I get confused. I'm like, if you have this ability, like, well, then again, this is a unique circumstance, right? They're pulling up to Egghead because of a very unique circumstance, and that's Vegapunk. Outside of that, there'd be no reason for them to actually approach Roger.
Do you think Shanks is gonna be the only guy with observation killer or future sight killer?
I don't think so. And that's also a good point that you mentioned that, because that was that confirmed in what, an SBS that Shanks has that ability that can't tell other people's Haki, or is that like a
volume 4 billion, I think.
Volume 4 billion. Now, was that confirmed as like canon?
Yeah, so they were giving out like the little booklets at the premiere for Film Red in Japan, and that's how people got the is it an SBS? I don't think it's an SBS.
It might be the 4 billion thing you were mentioning.
Yeah.
Okay. So if that's the case, then someone else should have it, right? It's like Katakuri using Future Sight. Like, someone else should definitely have it. And it turns out Kaido has it. Turns out Shanks has it. So it turns out anyone, honestly, at a certain tier, should have the ability to use Future Sight at some point. That's how I rationale it. So someone has to have Haki canceling abilities, and I think the Gorosei would be the best candidates to do so. And you know what? It kind of makes sense, because Shanks really do just be creeping up on people. What if he's just dulling the senses of those around him for him to creep up in the first place? It's like a classic misdirection, you know, like Kuroko no Basket.
Kuroko no Basket?
Or Kuroko's Basketball. You never watched Kuroko?
Oh, I've never watched it, but I know of it, if that helps.
Oh, yeah, the main character, his special power is like he's so bland that people don't notice him, so he uses misdirection to be like some kind of Chris Paul or whatever. Yeah, basically.
Oh, that's hard. Is that worth watching?
I mean, if you like Dragon Ball Z basketball, then yeah. It's entertaining. That's all I'm gonna say. You definitely will be entertained.
Okay. And then we had 20 gifted memberships from Dion. This guy's insane, bro. Shouts out to Dion. Every stream going crazy. And then Laser with the 333. You already know. Appreciate you, my boy Laser. So I was gonna say this a second ago, Jay. Terrible TJ said Conquer's Haki killer would just be Conquer's Haki, right? The armament killer and observation killer are just subsets of Conquer's Haki, in my opinion. What do you guys think? Do you agree with that? Yo, I don't know if it's me. Yo, chat. Okay, so it's not just me. Morse code. Oh, he is lagging. Oh, are you good?
Okay, I'm yeah, bro. I don't know what's going on, bro. This spirit of bodega's attacking me, yo. It's unreal.
Yo, you're not the only one that had issues. My entire stream crashed, bro. That makes it both of us.
Yeah, I don't know. Somebody don't want us to stream, man. But did you hear what I said?
No, man, I didn't hear any of that.
Basically, I was saying that I think, for canceling, I understand the armament Haki thing, and that does make a lot of sense. I think Conqueror's Haki overrides armament Haki. Advanced Conqueror's Haki overrides like armament Haki and observation Haki, right? Mm-hmm. Even then, I don't even think it overrides observation Haki because you can see it coming, I think. Mm-hmm. So then it's more along the lines of there's a way to cancel out Haki with certain Haki, but Conqueror's Haki is just stronger than all the other three. And then you have advanced Conquerors where it's like, okay, you can weaponize that. So in my mind, I wouldn't say that Conqueror's Haki is a canceling effect. I think there's a very specific usage of Haki that cancels out other Hakis. I don't think it's Conqueror.
Yeah, I agree. I don't think it's Conquerors either. Oh man, like sometimes I wonder like if it was a good route for Oda to, kind of sprinkle in information about Haki throughout the story. Like Oda never actually sat down and made a double page saying like this is this Haki and then it does this thing, it does that. Like it's always been like little by little. Is that something that you're a fan of, or do you or are you not really rocking with like the lack of information when it comes to Haki?
It's been frustrating, I'm not gonna lie, and it's been one of the reasons why I think the potential of it has kind of been shortchanged by Oda's vagueness of it. Because I think the application is great. I think it's a good power system, but excuse me. When you compare it to things like, I hate to say this, when you compare it to things like Cursed Energy or like Nen, right? I think we've been spoiled by those explanations, and even like Magoi and Magi. Right, when you have certain power systems, we kind of know what does what, when it does what, and how something is negated, right? So then at that point, once the power system is clear, then it's all about matchup, right? With Haki, it's kind of just, oh, my Haki is different today, or I'm a new character and my Haki, it's kind of like power levels. I got more Haki than you. My Haki is greater than yours, so GG. Right? And it's not really about matchups anymore. And I think that's a frustration for me. But I think due to the nature of the plot, if you look at a lot of those series like Hunter x Hunter, JJK, the plots are kind of lackluster for the most part, right?
Right.
One Piece is a massively plot-heavy series. So there has to be something that you have to be loose in some areas. And I think for the sake of the plot, Oda has been loose with the power system just because he kind of uses it when he needs to resolve a conflict. That's when he uses Haki. That's how I've seen him do it. So is it frustrating? Yes, but I just have to accept that that's just kind of how One Piece is. And then when you compare it to other series like I mentioned before, then you kind of can see why Oda's doing that. So that's kind of how I cope, I guess is the best way to say it.
Yeah, I really like how you put it. Oda uses Haki to kind of fix things, kind of counteract things. It's like a lot of times you'll see with Devil Fruits, they'll have an ability, or they might have an ability that's very broken, and Oda will create a situation where Haki just completely counters it. Like, for an example, Law can't switch people around if their Haki's too good. Like, he can't make Big Mom and Kaido swap. But if he was able to do that, like, that would be an insane power, like, in a 2v2 fight. But I totally agree. Haki's always been like, my boy Stein Exos had the perfect phrase. It was a hacks prevention, basically. So whenever you see like hacks in anime, or when there would have been hacks in One Piece, Haki's there to prevent it, basically.
Exactly.
Go on.
No, I was saying an example of that is obviously Law's room, and that's kind of being hacks, and then Big Mom and Kaido like, my Haki's stronger, so room doesn't affect me. And I'm like,
Perfect explanation.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like,
yep.
we didn't know where that came from until just then. So it's like whenever it applies, he uses it. So
okay,
it is what it is.
So this has been like a long running question. I don't know if you have an answer, but do you think that logic with Law's room and Haki, do you think that logic applies to someone like Sugar? Like if someone's Haki's like, you know, too strong or whatever, she can't turn him to a toy?
I feel like it'd be wild if it didn't. You know, I think that sets a precedent for all kinds of broken Devil Fruit powers, right? I feel like it absolutely is the case, and if it's not, that's just bad. To me, it's just, you know, I hate to say it, but that's very Mickey Mouse. That's very Disney. I don't think Oda would do that. I hope he would. So yeah, no, that's an answer.
So you said something about Hunter x Hunter and Nen. Is that something that you're trying to keep up with right now, or?
Absolutely. I caught up with Hunter x Hunter. I don't know when he's coming back out of hiatus, but that's definitely I would say my favorite with FMAB. Those are my two like really favorite series and animes I've watched, mangas, all of that. And you know, with Nen, I just like, one thing I found is that a lot of people that slander One Piece are normally people that, you know, love stories, love seinen, or love like real hardcore series, right? Or like overly complicated series like JJK and Hunter x Hunter. I'm just a big fan of a power system being fleshed out to the point where characters' fighting styles and the way they execute that fighting style is way more important than their actual overall strength. I find that so much more intriguing, which is why I think Luffy versus Katakuri as a fight, and I'm kind of giving a One Piece twist on this, was very unique for me because Luffy had to overcome the bad matchup that Katakuri outmatched him in every way possible. He couldn't really see into the future, but how did he catch up? With overwhelming speed. And to be honest, Luffy is a brawler, but we don't realize that Luffy is, in a way, kind of a speed fighter. Like, would you agree with that? Would you say Luffy's like more of a speed fighter with a lot of with a heavy punch? Like, what would you say?
Yeah, definitely. Like, you know, I would definitely agree with that. Like, I feel like a lot of the fights that he has with these big villains usually start out with like a lot of blitzing. Luffy's trying to be faster than them, and then it always ends with like, okay, who has a stronger attack though? Because like you see with like Luffy versus Kaido, you know, Kaido first Thunder Bogwood him, and then Luffy had to get faster and try to dodge it, blah 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 blah. So yeah, like I definitely think a lot of the time speed's like one of the highest values for someone like Luffy in a fight. Yeah,
agree 100%. And then, you know, just to tie that together, it's like when you look at Katakuri versus Luffy, that's the first time I really felt like Luffy really had to think about how he's going to beat somebody. Like with Kaido, he just kept, you know, he learned everything as you go, but he really had to sit down and think like, yo, how am I going to beat this guy? Like, I don't know how I'm supposed to do it. So he came with a strategy, and even then the strategy wasn't really working. And again, you know how the ending of the fight was, like everyone's still like contentious about it. Those are the type of things that appeal to me the most when it comes to One Piece, where Oda kind of goes outside of the kiddie version of it, where it's like, oh, happy-go-lucky, chopper, ooh, all that stuff. It's when Oda really starts to attack things like Luffy actually thinking about his actions, or internal dialogue, like the whole moment with Sanji in I think the whole is it Ifrit Jabe today, the anime?
Yes.
All right, I'll find a way to watch that. I think that whole idea of Oda digging deeper into the characters, digging deeper into the conflict between two characters, that's where like Hunter x Hunter and One Piece overlap to me, because Oda has proven to me time and time again he can write at that level. He can get there easily. So like, I guess my overall message to this, because you asked like, is Hunter x Hunter my favorite? Like, when people make those comparisons and try to like use one to downplay the other, just know that One Piece has elements of Hunter x Hunter that we all truly enjoy. And you can definitely love both. You know, Braga loves both. You know, we're both huge Hunter x Hunter stands. So I love it, man. But one thing I want to ask you is like, what are your thoughts? Like, do you like any other series outside of One Piece? I don't think I really got to know that about you.
Yeah, so basically I grew up with Naruto. That was like the first anime I really got into, and like I was super tunnel visioned on that, so I was only watching Naruto when it was running. But when Naruto ended up concluding in like 2014 or 2015, one of those years, I started like watching all sorts of like other things. So like, you know, the basics like Death Note, Cowboy Bebop, like all the basic stuff. But one of the ones that I've really gravitated towards outside of One Piece is definitely Hunter x Hunter. Like that whole arc with is it Meruem? Is that his name?
Oh, the Khmer Ant? Yeah.
Yeah, that was, in my opinion, like the first time I watched that was one of the best anime arcs I've ever watched. And I think it gets slandered, but I love it. I don't care.
It gets slandered just because people don't take the time to see what is being built up. Every episode is important to that arc. I know it gets slow, but everything comes together literally near the end. Like everything. Like there's nothing missed, you know? So if people say Khmer Ant arc is trash or they think it's boring, I'm like, you weren't paying attention, you didn't bother to pay attention, and I disqualify your opinion. You have a right to it, but I disqualify it in my heart. So
the fights in there, and I think there might have even been like a character death in that arc, if I remember right.
Netero versus Meruem is top 3 fights for me ever.
Didn't that have the scene where he like had one hand up or one arm up?
Yes.
Oh,
yes.
That's so hard, bro.
Zero Shiki, bro. People don't realize my man had a middle finger out when he did that. I'm like, yo, my man is cold. He's cold, bro. Hard body.
That's definitely one of the best moments, bro. That and like when Gon punched what was her name? Pito?
Oh yeah, that was. Whew.
Nah, that moment was insane.
Moment. And then Killua, Godspeed. That moment was incredible. Like just the uniqueness and the drawbacks of the powers. Actually, this is a good segue because in Hunter x Hunter, a lot of people's powers, they always have drawbacks. Always. That's one thing I love about it. Like you have to get in the contracts, you have to sacrifice something. Kurapika and his chains. In One Piece, let's talk about drawbacks, right? Is that a big deal for you when Oda clearly says there's going to be a drawback to something, but he doesn't show it? Do you think he's actually going to capitalize on it, or is it just to build tension in the moment?
I feel like I've gotten used to like authors doing that a lot, where they're like, oh, you know, if you use this certain power, this certain tool, you're going to have to pay for it. And then eventually, like, you know, a lot of the times the character overcomes it and they can end up dealing with the issue better. So like more specifically, like if Gear 2nd and 3rd or whatever takes a toll on Luffy's body, the more he uses it, he's going to be more efficient with it. So it's less of a toll. You know what I mean? I've kind of gotten used to authors doing that all the time to the point where I'm just expecting it. Where like if the author's like, yeah, if you use this ability or you know, if you do this attack or whatever, you're going to pay for it. And then like the character's fine anyways. You know, I feel like so let's pinpoint this then. Do you feel like Gear 5 is going to be a form where Luffy has no drawback because he was paying for it the whole time up until that point? Or do you feel like Gear 5 has to be the one gear that definitely should have a drawback? What are your thoughts on Gear 5?
I think it's weird for me to say this because I think Gear 5 doesn't have drawbacks just because his fruit awakened. And it seems like his fruit is back in its natural state. Do you know what I mean? Like the whole name of the fruit changed. Like, do we have any precedent of awakenings having drawbacks?
No.
That's the thing. Like, we don't. If anything, awakenings seem to help. Like, Zoans normally have extremely high recovery time when they're awakened. That doesn't seem like a drawback to me. So, like, I guess you would say since it's an awakened form of his Devil Fruit, I would say there's no drawbacks. but that concerns me because there's tons of drawbacks with Luffy's fruits because Rob Lucci's mentioned it. Now, as he become more efficient with it, I'm sure. Not to mention the whole surgery that Ivankov did on him in Impelled Down as well. That's gonna have drawbacks because that shaved years off his life.
Oh yeah.
I'm hoping these things that are being mentioned actually come into play because it's setting Luffy up for a early death. Not to say he's gonna die before One Piece is over, but he's probably gonna die young. I don't think we're gonna see Luffy old. We're not going to. I don't see it. And if Gear 5 does have drawbacks, it might be the case that once someone awakens that fruit, they're on a clock.
Like a death clock?
Yeah, they're on a clock.
Oh wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it's just counting down the days until your purpose is served, and once the purpose is served, you die.
Damn, I've never heard of that before.
No one's. It's like, think about it, right? It's like it's a prophecy, sovereign, Joy Boy, the savior of all. Like, you have all these things about all these things that include. I don't want to say the word finality, but you just have all these things where it's like Luffy has a job to do. He has people to liberate. There's things he needs to do. Once that's done, what's next? What's the use for the fruit? Like, what do you need Joy Boy for after you completed all the prophecy and this is what thousands of years of prophecy around this thing? Afterwards, what's gonna happen? Luffy's just gonna rest and turn Gear 5 whenever he wants, casually sailing the seas? I don't know. That doesn't make sense to me. I mean, it could, but
I mean, you make a really good point. I never looked at it like that. That's crazy. That's such a simple way of explaining it. Yeah, and
you never know, man.
It's just like it's like the classic tale. The hero's always like saving the day and then he dies young, right? Like hardly ever do you really get to see a hero reach like an elderly age. So, Luffy dying young, I definitely understand that. But it would you as you said, after he finds the One Piece.
Yes. Luffy has to find the One Piece. There's no way he's not going to. If he doesn't, that's wow. You want to talk about outrage. My goodness.
So that connects to something I was thinking about yesterday then. So a lot of times people will ask me, yo, what do you think about Blackbeard becoming Pirate King before Luffy and kind of stealing that title or whatever? For me, that almost feels like someone else getting the One Piece instead of Luffy. And it just kind of like rubs me the wrong way. Do you feel the same way?
I'm sorry to say, as an agenda merchant, we're here for it, right? Because if Blackbeard does that, the agenda transcends the story. Because now we're bringing Blackbeard agendas to anime conversation. If my GOAT takes the title of the series away from Luffy for any longer than 3 seconds, he's up there top 3 with the greatest villains we've ever seen in history. Because what villain can you say says, hey, bro, like imagine who's like Naruto's ultimate villain, bro?
Like
right?
if Pain became the Hokage or
if
something.
Pain became Hokage, would you not say, hold on, this nigga Pain is different?
Nah, that's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? So like if Blackbeard finds the One Piece before Luffy, even if he does it as a snake, then he's the greatest snake of all time.
Yeah.
It's just that simple. Like that you have to start putting him in GOAT conversations.
No, I definitely agree. Like, if you're gonna take the road of Blackbeard getting the title, then like, yeah, that 100% cements Blackbeard as like one of those guys in like all of anime. Because like I love the analogy you gave, like the whole Hokage thing. It's literally like if Pain became Hokage. You don't really see this in a lot of anime and manga, or like even like movies and media. Like the main villain or one of the main villains actually achieving the main character's goal. Like that's very rare. So I could see Oda, spinning his story on its head as long as he doesn't create a plot hole, doing that.
And that's what I'm hoping he doesn't, right? Just pray for no plot holes. But even then, it's very far-fetched. I think that Oda would do something like that. It just doesn't really seem to be something that he's used. It doesn't really seem to be something that's in his toolbox. Not to say he can't do it. It just doesn't. I don't think it's an option he'll pick, right? That's like a Steph Curry logo 3, right? And Oda's more of a mid-range shooter. Like I just don't think he does. I think he'll go that far. There's no shame in that. Kawhi's great.
Yo, Dion with another 20 gifted memberships. This guy is crazy, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much, man. Always supporting the channel, bro. And Brad with the 2. He said daily reminder, Buggy is Roger. Bro, that's still the wackiest theory I've ever heard. And Jay, you heard that right. You heard that right. Buggy is Roger.
What? I need an explanation. Why? Why is that a theory? Why do you say that?
Okay, there's a YouTube video on it. It's like 5 minutes long, but if I remember correctly, apparently like Roger, you know, his final words to Rayleigh's, "I'm not gonna die, partner." So you could already see where I'm going with that. He basically never did die, and he wanted to have a second chance at Pirate King, but this time by trolling, right? And that's the identity of Buggy. Not my theory, by the way. Not my theory.
I don't understand. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It's like the crocodile's Luffy's mom theory. I can't do it.
Hey, I'm the messenger, bro. I
know. I just things like that rattle me a little bit. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little rattled.
Yeah,
fine.
man.
Everyone has a right. Everyone has a right.
The Crocomom theories, man. Do you feel like that does a disservice to theories? Like, because you're kind of like, you know, you're not really one of the biggest theory makers, so you're kind of like on the outside looking in. Do you think that makes theorists look bad, or do you not really care about something like that?
No, and the reason I say that is because there's something I've kind of wanted the community to like really accept, and I think it's something that we've done with Agenda Piece now, because that's turned into a thing. Like Agenda Piece is a thing now, right? And theories are just a narrative version of Agenda Piece. Like, people look for things, they try to draw connections, and they make a theory out of it. If it's wacky, it's wacky. Like for me, my agenda is Kid lost his arm because it was Monster that did it. You know, the little monkey in Shanks' crew. He ripped off Kid's arm. That's my agenda. Do I have any proof behind it? No. Is it stupid? Yes. But I have fun with it. And then I have agendas like Garp would have beat Akaino's ass in Marineford. We see Galaxy Fist, people start to shift a little bit. It's like you've had your theories, and I'll show you've had your theories, you've had your W's, I've seen you have your W's. It's the same thing. There's going to be bad theories, there's going to be tongue-on-cheek theories, there's going to be mean theories, there's going to be good theories, and then there's going to be, you know, theories that people take. But I won't speak on that. But you know what I mean? So it's like, it's just a part of the culture. Like, it's all, to me, theories is just agenda narratives. Narrative agendas. That's all they are. So they're all part of the same coin. I don't have an issue with it.
It might seem like I'm saying this just because you're like on stream with me, but like I've agreed with like everything you said so far today, and like what you just said was like perfect. No one ever puts it that way. Like literally, like the Agenda Piece and theories is like the same thing. You're basically saying, yo, I think this thing's gonna happen. I think Blackbeard's gonna be top 1. I think Law's gonna go to this guy. Bro, you put it so perfectly. Like that needs to be clipped.
I told people before, right? And I said this when Kid, I told people that Kid's gonna get absolutely decimated by Shanks. It's so obvious, but people didn't want to believe. So I told them, I said, listen, you're talking about, oh, you're just mad because your headcanon didn't come true. I'm like, listen, man, for all these people that say One Piece is only about the narrative, why make theories? Why? Because you're guessing, you're using your headcanon to guess what Oda's gonna do. So it's okay if you do it in the spirit of the narrative and theories to guess what Oda's gonna do. But if I say Kid's gonna get his ass whooped by Shanks and I'm right, what's the difference between what I did and what you did? I believed Oda was gonna do something. He didn't do it. Oh well. Right? Everything that we do, previews, predictions, theories, agendas, power scaling, every shred of it is headcanon. Even the analysis that we do, we feel like we know exactly what Oda's talking about. But do we really? We don't. We don't know. Unless Oda says it out of his mouth, everything that we say about this story is headcanon or educated headcanon, right? So like what you have hypotheses, which are less educated theories. Or like you have a theory and then you have a law. All we're doing is coming up with theories. We're coming up with hypotheses. We do our research. It makes a little bit more sense, but it's not a law. It's not confirmed. I'm talking like scientific method here. It's not a law until it is proven and spoken. It's not a fact yet. So all we're doing, power scaling, all this stuff. It's all theories. It's all under one umbrella of theories, right? And I think agendas are just meme theories. If you really want to think about it.
Yeah.
Maybe I am a theorist. Maybe I am. The agenda theorist. That might be my new title.
Or it's like the power, like the combat version of a theory. Like that's what agenda piece is. That's what power scaling is. Yeah, you put it perfectly. Yeah, man, like it's crazy when you have like a channel like mine where like I'm solely dedicated to theories, bro. Like I see all the good, all the bad, you know, like some people, man, you wouldn't believe how serious they'll take a theory. Like I'm the one creating it and I'm not even like going to the ends of the earth to like debate people and argue, man. Like, do you ever feel like it's the One Piece community specifically that could be really toxic, or do you say, oh no, that's like every community?
It's every community, and I'll say that because I've seen the MHA community. They are poison. I've seen the JJK community turn on Gege immediately. A little bit poisonous. I think the problem with the One Piece community is it's the only community I see where there's a legitimate like campaign against power scaling and reading the story in a certain way. That's the only series I've kind of seen that type of discourse, which makes it seem like One Piece is the only toxic community. But it's like MHA people reading the story for shipping. Like, you know, everyone's trying to find their ships and all kinds of other stuff like that. Like, luckily, we don't have that in the One Piece community. But this is just our unique toxicity. The whole narrative, power scaling, agenda, you know, negativity, all that stuff. That's the only thing that we really experience in this community, which makes it seem like, oh, One Piece is the only toxic community. So, does it bother me? Yes. Have I stopped caring? Yes, I have. Because you just, at the end of the day, I'm going to read the story the way I want to read it. I don't care how you think I'm going to read it. As long as I got my homies, I got my merry band of rats. We got the, you know, the JD family. I don't care. I just don't care. Like, I have my people. I have my tribe. I have my community.
Yes,
I
sir.
have the YouTubers I collab with. Like, I'm cool with y'all. I don't need to be cool with them. If they don't want to mess with what we got cooking, that's fine. But you're going to watch outside and you're going to see us have all kinds of fun. Because we're having a blast. I don't know. Everyone in the chat, it seems like everyone's having a blast.
Oh,
right?
100%.
So, you know,
bro,
so why not just have fun?
See, this is why I appreciate the energy, bro. You always have like some kind of positive outlook. You know, you're always on some like, yo, I'm trying to propel forwards type shit. I like the way you go about like the hate and the drama and shit.
To learn, man. I didn't take it well at the beginning. I'm not gonna lie to you. I just had to learn. I think what helps is like the messages of, you know, the comment section, the messages in the chat, the people that show up to the chat every day. It's like they see something and they enjoy it, and then they enjoy you, and then you kind of realize like, yeah, I'm gonna get hate, but what about the people that are sitting here supporting me every day? Like, do they really want to hear me complain about people when they're out here showing me love? Like, why waste time dwelling on people that have no idea who you are? They don't watch your content. They don't bother to see the wholesome moments where you're actually talking about why you think the way you think, why you enjoy the way you do it. If you're not gonna take the time to actually investigate why I do the things that you don't like, I don't need to give you the courtesy of paying attention to what you say. And once I've realized that, it's been so much more peaceful. There are some comments that piss me off from time to time. Some niggas got to get clapped back in. That's just me.
Yeah, you know, we all have those days, man. Think about like early like 2000s, mid 2000s with Modern Warfare 2, bro. When that game ended, bro, you got on the mic and you were talking crazy, like, you know. So like when I see a creator clap back in my heart, I think it's justified. I never look at the creator back because, man, at the end of the day, you're human, bro. Like you as corny as it sounds, like you do have feelings, like you do deserve respect. You know, people shouldn't just be walking all over you just because you're a creator. But I actually want to leave that behind. I agree with everything you said, Jay. Again, Dion with the 20 gifted. Thank you, bro. And I am Wested with the 1 gifted membership. Appreciate you, bro. But we have a super chat from the Odd Advantage. $100. 100 rocks. Appreciate it. 100 bones, bro. Evil, please. If you eat a devil fruit user's heart, you gain their ability. Big Mom ate all of caramel. Blackbeard had a hole in Whitebeard's chest leading to the heart. Devil fruit users carry on will. Another word for will is heart. Blackbeard has 3 hearts. Whew. Does anything come to your mind, Jay?
I mean, I've always been the proponent of Zebek is residing in Blackbeard somewhere. So that would be interesting. Can you imagine if that makes sense. So is he mentioning that Blackbeard ate Whitebeard's heart or something like that?
Yeah. He's pretty much getting at that.
And then that's how he gets the devil fruit powers?
It's interesting because you could think about Punk Hazard, right? Oda made sure to make it a point where devil fruits and personalities and all that are stuck to the heart. Like when you think about like how much focus and like how much Oda wanted us to pay attention to that kind of like plot device, it almost seems like he's going to bring it back. But I'm sorry to go off topic. Continue with what you were saying again.
No, not at all. I mean, I think it's interesting because we still don't know how Blackbeard does it, and we know that his body is strange. There's more than one person residing in him. I think it's Zebek, right? And as a result of that, it could be the case that Blackbeard has had 2 hearts. One of those hearts is beating whatever consciousness that's residing within him, keeps him up at night, which is why he doesn't sleep. That hasn't been addressed yet. And maybe his body has the capacity to have other hearts, or maybe he's learned how to pass it on to other people. Like, there's a few theories that come into it. The heart theory is very interesting. I'm going to pay attention to it very closely now. And one of the things that kind of popped into my mind is if you look at the Seraphim and how they're using devil fruit powers, right? I think it's like, what is it called? Green blood? Is that what they call it?
Yeah, green blood.
When you think of blood, there's one control center that kind of pumps and circulates your blood. And that's your heart, right? Or am I
no. Yeah. Sorry, I thought you were like I thought that was a statement.
No. So it was, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't wrong. So I'm like, hold on, if that's a biologist and they're like, nah, Jay, you fucking stupid. What do you mean? I'm like, shit, my bad. But if that's the case, which I do believe it is the case, so I'm just gonna go with it. It would not surprise me if the key to your devil fruit and your devil fruit powers, and you eat the devil fruit, it circulates into your bloodstream and it like resides within your heart. What if that's the case? That would be something that's interesting, and it would support the theory.
I'll throw you one, right? With Blackbeard's new bounty, you might know this. What is it? 3,996,000,000 berries. That's a Japanese pun of 3 hearts. I don't know if you knew that.
No, I did not.
Yeah, it translates to San Kokoro, which is 3 hearts. So that's even more information to push the agenda. See, this theory stuff could get crazy, bro. It could get crazy when you hear something like that.
I definitely can. It's ironic that he beat Law, destroyed the Heart Pirates. He's talking about all those hearts you claimed. Heart. Like, heart is just everywhere around Blackbeard right now. So, hey, man, who knows?
All right. So again, the Odd Advantage, appreciate you. Thank you so much for that super chat, bro. We have Juan Carlos with the 1 month. Does Blackbeard have advanced Conqueror's Haki? Is he on Shanks' level right now? Go ahead, Jay. 100%.
Yes. It's a very simple question.
Yep.
Yes and yes. If you don't think so, you haven't been reading the story.
Because wouldn't it be like a crime to not only Conqueror's Haki itself, but also its users, for Blackbeard to not have Conquerors? Because like, this is the guy that's trying to go to Laugh-Tale. He said it's gonna be my era. He tried to kill Whitebeard. He fought at Marineford. Like, I almost feel like it would be a crime if he didn't have Conquerors, and it has nothing to do with me liking Blackbeard. Do you see what I'm saying?
It'd be an insult to the story. It would be an insult to the story for someone like Blackbeard to not have Conqueror's Haki. He's such a major player. He's a big dreamer. He has massive ambition, and he executes it. Like, think about the willpower you have to wait 20 years to find the one fruit you've been looking for. People talking about patience and grind mentality. Blackbeard faked. He acted like a fraud for 20 years. Some people can't even stay in a 1-year relationship. Imagine being with the same crew for 20 years and still on your bullshit. That is legacy-defining willpower. So for you to tell me this nigga don't have conquerors, I'm sorry, you're not reading the story. You're not reading it. You're not. You're reading Two Piece.
Bro, I'm sorry, but there's certain things that if you say this sentence, if you say this phrase, there's a fundamental misunderstanding that you have with the story. Like, it's one thing to be like, fucking oh, who's taller, Zoro or Fisher Tiger, right? But like to say something like, oh, does Blackbeard have Conqueror's Haki? Oh, I don't think he does. Like, that's kind of like a big statement. Like, there's certain things that's just like, man, like, you're connecting to the root of the story almost, and that to me, that's one of them. Conqueror's Haki. And you know what?
Like,
go on.
Yeah, go ahead. No, I was gonna say, like, at this point, like, what are we doing? Like, why is Blackbeard a Yonko? How can you be a Yonko without conquerors?
That's
We're
that's
just
an
thinking
even
about
better
simple
way.
common sense. Just common sense.
Oh, but you know what they'll say, bro? They'll say, "Oh, but Buggy's a Yonko."
Oh, please. We know why. Come on, man. Like, come on. They know better. Like, what pirate has Buggy defeated?
None.
Blackbeard is defeating conquerors, man. Do people think Law has conquerors?
Nah. You know
I'm
what?
pretty sure he doesn't.
I'll throw this in there. People still try to disprove this, even though, like, you know, you can't disprove it. But the very first moment when the Law and Blackbeard fight began, you literally see the Black Lightning. What are you agree with that, right?
Yeah, no, I saw it.
Yep.
I saw it.
Yep. So it's just like, it almost seems like a pointless argument, you know? Like, why even go against it? It's not worth it. Like,
it's agendas. People just have an agenda. That's all. There's no shame in it, but I think it's. I don't think it's a good agenda. That's all.
But yeah, I think most people would agree Blackbeard has conquerors anyways, which is cool. But the second half of this question, is he on Shanks's level? So, like, from my perspective, Jay, I feel like Blackbeard might have one more boost before he, you know, fights Luffy or Shanks. Do you feel the same way? Or do you think Blackbeard's kind of like gonna sail smooth from here?
I think it's possible. I think from what we're seeing right now, if we're like using our logic, Shanks is the strongest combatant we've seen solely for the fact that he one-shot Kid. Kaido didn't one-shot Kid, right? So if we're just using just what we saw on the screen, we can justify anything. He one-shot Kid and he took out Killer with him. I'm like, all right, Shanks, top one. You have a feat to back that up. The one person that we've seen Shanks actually, the one person we've actually seen that has made Shanks sweat is Blackbeard. That's the one person. Mm-hmm. That has to hold some weight at some point. And that has to come back up later. That scar he has is iconic. He said, I didn't get this from Mihawk. To tell Whitebeard the gravity of what Blackbeard did to him, he's like, bro, if Mihawk didn't do this, Blackbeard did. Mihawk didn't get a scar on me. Blackbeard did. If that is the case, and this is pre-time skip Blackbeard, pre-Devil Fruit Blackbeard, you add the Gura, you add a fruit that negates other Devil Fruits, the Darkness Fruit, and then whatever ability he used to catch Shanks off guard, including Haki, at the bare minimum, he's right below Shanks. Bare minimum. Mm-hmm. Yeah. That's why I said Blackbeard is top one or top two. It shouldn't be any other order.
Yeah, I totally agree. He's always been portrayed as that guy, and Shanks has also been portrayed as, again, you know, someone at the very pinnacle of power, pinnacle of combat. So, like, it would just make sense if they've been neck and neck this whole time. But I was gonna say, one thing that I always try to remind people about Blackbeard, because I feel like this is just unbelievably like slept on. He took like a Gura blast to the face, like pre-time skip. Like, that's a huge, I would assume that's a huge hit to take. Like, in the skull.
Straight to his face. I mean, look what happened to Akainu. He got a Gura, direct Gura to his side. You saw the screen crack, and my man fell down the hole and was out for at least a couple of seconds.
Yeah.
At the bare minimum. People's like, oh, he dug out and attacked Jinbei. He was gone for a bit. It did damage. Blackbeard took that to the face and got up right after.
Yeah.
And was still having dialogue.
Yeah, that's an insane durability feat, bro. Even if you try to say, "Oh, well, that's Sickbeard," though, it's like, are you really gonna try to like sleep on Whitebeard? Like, are we really gonna do that? Like,
are we really gonna do that? I don't think so. You know what I'm saying?
Someone said Blackbeard, or King J said Blackbeard blocked S-Hawk with his hand. Did I miss that?
You did. Oh well, it was in when they first saw Boa Hancock. Remember, I think it was either Baby Mihawk or Baby Boa that tried to hit Blackbeard, and he hockeyed up his arm to block it.
I probably just don't remember off the top of my head. Then
it's been that chapter. It's been a minute since that chapter. I'm not gonna lie, but I remember that moment because I remember highlighting that fact.
Okay. Let me see. I'm actually gonna pull it up right here. So I see S-Hawk. He throws the slice. Oh yeah. Duh. Okay. I just forgot. Damn, man, Blackbeard's always been such a beast, bro. I can't wait till his reveal, man. I can't figure it out, man. Is Blackbeard gonna go to Hachinosu because, you know, maybe he hears about Garp? Is he gonna go to Egghead? You're the Blackbeard, man. Where's he going, bro? What's his goal? What is he chasing right now? Oh, yo, you might be muted for me, bro.
Sorry, I have 2 mute buttons. I would be. I think he's going to Egghead.
Oh man, that would be so crazy.
If he kidnaps a Gorosei, bro.
Oh, what if he kills the Gorosei though? What if he's like,
if Blackbeard kills a Gorosei, bro, we're already having GOAT conversations. He's probably the best villain in One Piece at that point.
But yo, think about how he just wanted to ask for his own pirate country. I could see Oda being like,
what I'm saying.
They're gonna say
he
no.
Keep the Gorosei as leverage.
Yes.
Be like, yo, give me my country, bro.
Oh, I see what you. I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Yeah, capture him. Or I guess maybe Oda might like have Blackbeard capture him, and then maybe for some reason he was like, nah, fuck that. Let's let him die. And then Blackbeard's like, oh, really? You don't want your Gorosei? Remember, and just kills him like out of some like.
That's like, yo, invite me to the reverie. Invite me to Mary Joa's, bro. Let me slide in there. Get in the reverie, bro. Like, yo.
Okay, well, you said Marijwa, so what about Kuma then? You think Kuma's gonna go up into the kingdom, or do you think he's gonna go past Red Line? Because that's a curveball Oda could throw, bro. Kuma could keep going and go to Egghead, man.
Kuma's a sacrifice. Kuma is going to die.
Oh, man.
It's sad, but what I need, that backstory, I'm not gonna lie, those first 3 pages of this backstory already broke me down. Like, I was devastated to see where he came from, bro. Like, you know, as an African American, like, slavery topics always kind of hit a little different. But to see him running away and his other slaves like, yo, bro, like, what are you doing? Get back here. And his other slaves are beating him. And you already see him beaten badly to begin with. And then it just makes you think, oh my God, what goes on in there? Like, that's so scary for me to see. And to see him suffer that. And then you see Bonnie's face. And that's just the beginning, bro.
That's just the beginning.
That's just the beginning. I'm like, bro, I'm not ready for that backstory. I'm not emotionally prepared. Bonnie wasn't emotionally. I don't think any of us were emotionally prepared to see that. Because I wasn't. It haunts me. Right? Mm-hmm. You know, and then I always tie this back into perspective on Boa Hancock. We get a glimpse of what Kuma went through. Right? Mm-hmm. As a slave. Imagine Boa Hancock and what she went through as a slave after seeing that panel from Kuma.
Oh man.
I don't want to imagine it. I don't. So when I always tell people, like, people don't like Boa's attitude, I'm like, look what happened with Kuma. Mm-hmm. Add being a woman, add being 12 years old, and then being in that environment. And then you tell me if Boa Hancock's being unreasonable after suffering something like that.
Yeah.
As a woman in a pirate world, tell me she's being unreasonable with her behavior.
Traumatizing.
You can't. You cannot. That's the type of psychological damage that a large amount of people, that I think it's more often than not, most people don't recover from that.
Yeah.
There's a higher percentage of people that don't recover from that type of psychological damage compared to those that actually do. Boa recovered, but this is what a best case scenario looks like for someone that recovered what you went through in slavery.
Mm-hmm.
So much so that Cuba turned himself into a robot for the cause, because he realized after that bullshit I went through, I could do anything.
I can't wait for this flashback, because
I need it.
Like, the last flashback that really hit me was the Odin one, especially when he died, but it wasn't in the kind of way that made me feel sad. Like, the most recent flashback that made me genuinely like upset was the whole Yasui thing. Well, I guess that wasn't a flashback. Fuck it. The whole Yasui situation when he died up on the cross and he was having his last moments, that to me made me super emotional, right? I feel like Kuma's gonna be that next one that just hits fans like a train, like the most sad, depressing shit. You're basically under that train, right?
Oh, absolutely. That I've been begging for it, right? I think the backstories that we got in Wano, I just wish they hit a bit more. The Yasui story was the last backstory that really, I was sad. I was like genuinely like, yo, like this guy's a goat. Like, look what he went through with his daughter, eating a small fruit. And we still didn't even get like a real deep dive into it. But like, if you take out Yasui, the last real emotional backstory we got would probably be Corazon and Law, you think? Like, do we have one before? Like, Big Mom's was like sad, but like it kind of just a good villain story, right? I think it's Corazon and Law is the last like real heart-wrenching backstory you've gotten in One Piece.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm trying to think, like Katakuri's was sad, with Brule, but it wasn't that long. You weren't really too attached. Kaido's was trash, let's be honest.
Oh man, that one.
Like Odin's was sad, but there was so much more to that backstory that you can't really just be like, oh my god, I'm sad. I wasn't really sad, to be honest with you.
Senior
Momonosuke's,
Pink?
Senior Pink, yes, but Senior Pink was actually extremely sad. You're right. I was gonna say Momonosuke maybe. If you look at it from Momo's perspective, what do you think?
I would call that a whole. I like that whole situation. I like the whole storytelling behind Momo and everything surrounding his character, everything in Wano, Shinobu. Like, I really enjoyed. How do I put it? I enjoyed a lot of the stuff regarding Odin and trying to get revenge on Kaido. There were other aspects of Wano and Onigashima that I wasn't a fan of, but like I personally liked Momo. Did you?
Repeat that last question you said. I liked. What about Momo?
Were you a fan of Momo? Did you like Momo?
I liked Momo until he was aged. And even then, that's more of a nitpick. I think overall, I liked Momo. I liked his character development, along with the fact that he's still an 8-year-old boy and has the presence of an 8-year-old boy. Once that presence of an 8-year-old boy was taken away, it kind of soured it for me, and that's just my opinion.
Yeah, because you built up that identity. Go on.
Yes, like because it's like, think about how brave it is for someone to be considerably smaller and considerably younger than everyone around them, but still have the fortitude to persevere, to stand up for yourself as a child. Like, that's such it challenges you as a man. Like, yo, this child is more grown and more brave than me.
Yeah.
And then he's still grown, he's still brave in an adult body, but the presentation is different. You don't receive it the same way you did when he was smaller. So like, that's why I liked Momo, but that's the only sour spot for me.
Yeah, I think the reason why Oda ended up aging up Hiyori is so that they would kind of be the same physical appearance despite him jumping in time and her sitting through it. I think like that's probably the main reason why Oda just said F it. But I definitely see where you're coming from on that. Like he had that whole identity as being younger and weaker, and but let's get back to the super chats. Willa Jill with the 5. I don't think Blackbeard needs advanced hockey. With 3 devil fruits, he can drain people's haki. Luffy would be running out of haki fighting against Blackbeard. Well, we kind of talked about Blackbeard having conquerors earlier. I guess like the last thing I would put in that subject or onto that subject is like, I feel like Oda has built the expectation that Luffy versus Blackbeard will be one of the biggest fights, like, period. So I would envision Luffy using both his devil fruit and haki against Blackbeard against both his devil fruit and haki, like an ultimate battle where kind of like everything goes, you know, like I'm gonna pull out everything in my haki gauntlet and my devil fruit gauntlet, same for Blackbeard, and have like this grandiose battle. That's like the last thing I would kind of throw onto that. What about you?
Can you repeat the question?
I don't think Blackbeard needs advanced haki with 3 fruits. He can drain people's haki. Luffy would be running out of haki fighting against Blackbeard.
I feel like in order to have any fight at this level, you need advanced conquerors. I think that's just like the standard, right? Because that's the only thing. When you look at Roger, you look at Garp, you look at Kaido, Shanks, you look at Whitebeard. Advanced Conquerors is the hallmark of 2 titans clashing. The only example that you could say where Advanced Conquerors was not like a top tier necessity is Akainu versus Aokiji, and that was off screen. You don't even know if they have Conquerors haki yet. So imagine we figure out what happened then, and they use Advanced Conquerors haki. It just proves it further. I think Blackbeard can have the ability to drain haki, but I think what's going to be hard for Luffy is that he's going to have to fight Blackbeard purely based on haki, because that darkness fruit is going to negate Gear 5. It's going to negate Gear 5 completely. And I don't think people are starting to understand that. Gear 5 is a devil fruit ability. Once Blackbeard uses Kurozu, he's going to go out of Gear 5 and he's going to take a very vicious Advanced Conquerors haki hit, and that's going to do severe damage. Luffy's going to have to find a way to beat Blackbeard without his devil fruit.
Yeah, you make a good point with the Yami, yeah. Do you think he's going to at least start the fight trying to use it, and then like he realizes he can't?
He'll find. I think at some point in time, he's going to find a way to pick his spots where he can use his devil fruit, but he's going to have to pick a very specific moment. It's like, you know, when you're fighting someone and they have like an impenetrable defense, you got to find that one moment where they're vulnerable and make it count. I think that's what Luffy's going to do to Blackbeard for his devil fruit, because Luffy with his haki combined with his devil fruit, that's when you're getting the best of him, right? There's going to be a moment in that fight where Luffy's going to hang on with haki, and then there's going to be a time where he can use Gear 5, his haki, when Blackbeard is most vulnerable, and hit him. So I think that's how that fight would play out.
Then we got Brad W with the 5. He says, memory fruit. Oda mirrors Naruto. We need a Toby. Buggy is the only one to damage the hat. He has a lot of luck. Same features as Roger. Can get stabbed. So comparing Toby to Buggy is a really interesting one, and I remember I actually did that in a video one time, and I remember when I was like scripting that theory that I said it in, I was like, bro, everyone's gonna call this a reach, but in this context it makes so much sense. And it's kind of funny because that was like the detail that everyone loved in the theory. But anyways, yeah, there's like a lot of similarities between Toby from Naruto with Buggy in One Piece. And you know, some people, you know, they're starting to argue like, oh, Buggy is actually tremendously strong, he's just hiding it. Would you say you're one of those people, Jay?
Nope. Buggy is weak. He ain't strong. And I'm dying on that. Buggy he plays a specific role in the story, and he will play that role to the very end. No, don't hope on it. The Buggy Ball is the peak of his powers.
Yeah, I understand, and I agree with that sentiment. It's just like all these characters, they're in the story for a reason. They're all playing key roles with all these moving pieces in the story. You can't have too many characters overlap, you know, in one specific objective. You never see Oda do that. Like all of the main characters are very specific. So yeah, but Buggy was written that kind of way to be this weak clown that somehow like makes his way to the top. Him being tremendously strong would almost it would rewrite his character.
It would.
Yeah.
It would completely rewrite his character, because then at the point it's like, oh, you were strong this whole time. You're some big macho man now. Like, come on, man. Like, then because imagine going back and watching One Piece now, and knowing Buggy's been strong the whole time. It makes Impel Down a meme. You know, Buggy Sama. It makes it a meme. Unless he becomes strong out of nowhere. I'd rather him be strong. He get an ability that actually makes him strong than him being strong the entire time. That's what I
Okay.
would say.
So like if he awakened his devil fruit,
Yeah.
that would
What
be
a woman's
fire.
awakening would be. That's interesting.
People have a theory that his devil fruit's actually like an atom fruit, and he's able to like destroy and like manipulate atoms or something like that.
Creating atom bombs is wild.
He would be so strong, bro.
That's like actually broken. Like that's actually like world destroying abilities. Like he'd actually destroy the world. That's insanity. This is like a one hit KO type of thing where it's like he uses it and he's done. Like
If okay, and then we have Red Potato with the 1 month. If S Croc is real, thoughts on giving him Magellan's devil fruit? Oh my god, what? S Crocodile with Magellan's devil fruit.
that's toxic.
That's insane. That would like kill like half the Straw Hats. Like Nami would die to that. I guess
Yeah, that's kind of wild.
I think most people are like on the train. We are getting an S Flamingo, S Croc, etc. Do you agree? Do you think Oda has to do that? All the ex warlords.
I think so. I think so because Oda. Okay, well, this is kind of like I don't think this actually ties into it, but like Oda showing us a picture of like young Crocodile and young Doflamingo. We already know what young Dofi looks like, so like we've already seen it before. It would be kind of dope to see it again.
Yeah,
I think so. I don't know. I feel like there is like if you got, but then they'd have to have a Moria, right? Well, they have Jinbei, right? So they have Jinbei. They gotta have Croc, right? No. They gotta have it. I'm sorry, they have to. I wouldn't want to see a small Moria, but like, give me Jinbei. Yeah, we here. Give me Crocodile and Dofi, and we're here. I'm with it.
I think S Flamingo is going to be the most popular one.
Oh, by distance. He's gonna have his little hat or a little jacket, little bird feathers.
Yo, imagine like with S Flamingo, Oda has like a scene where his glasses fall off or whatever, and that's how we get to see Doflamingo's eyes. How funny would that be?
Repeat that again.
Like, imagine Oda had a scenario with S Flamingo where like his glasses like fell off his face or like they broke, and
Oh
like
my God,
that reveals what Doflamingo's eyes look like.
It'd be like the Kakashi mask reveal. Oh my goodness.
Oh, we need that. You just had to make that comparison.
You had to, bro, because it's like that was a whole thing, and like we never got Kakashi's real face in the actual story. I think it was some kind of like filler or something. Or did we ever learn what Kakashi's mouth looks like? I don't think we did.
No, we saw Kakashi's face. Wasn't that in like an official chapter, official episode?
No.
I think he was like in the bathroom or something when it was revealed. Oh, it was filler.
That's what I'm saying. I'm pretty sure it was filler.
Bro, I thought they actually gave in and revealed it once.
Yeah, okay, I'm seeing it now. They did show it, but it was definitely filler.
Damn. And then we have Brad with the 2, like the smash button. Yo, smash the like button, y'all.
Like the smash button is hilarious.
And Branks with the 6 months. Daily reminder. Luffy kicked Buggy and D-Nuts to win. D-Nuts. I don't know why I just said it like that. Daily reminder. Luffy kicked Buggy and D-Nuts to win. Bro, that's the only way Luffy could beat someone like Buggy.
Well, it makes sense. Buggy, the good thing about his Devil Fruit is he can kind of just avoid most attacks. So he's like a fly. You can't. It's hard to kill.
He's a fly.
You kind of just gotta let him go. Like, I mean, I know it's a little disrespectful, but it's like that one fly that you just can't kill no matter what you do. He just is elusive, bro. And I think Buggy is just the definition of elusivity in the Power Road, man. And his Devil Fruit kind of mirrors that. Like, how do you really stop somebody that separates themselves consistently?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, his fruit does match his personality.
It does.
I guess that's another reason why he shouldn't become like a powerhouse, or like he shouldn't already be a powerhouse.
It just wouldn't work. It wouldn't fit with me. Oh, excuse me, sorry. I just don't think it would I don't think it would fit his character.
And then we got 2 from Mr. Bushido. I still think there's more to Kaido's backstory. Man, I feel like if we get more about Kaido, it'll probably be like the God Valley flashback. I don't know if Oda's gonna take any time to like give Kaido more than that.
I personally don't believe it, but if he chooses to, okay. Right? Because then you'd have to do something like Arlong in the Fishman Island flashback, right? And you'd have to give Kaido like that type of importance. And to be fair, we didn't think we were going to get another backstory for Arlong, right? Did Arlong even have a backstory to begin with? I don't think he did. I think he got it later. Exactly. So like the only precedent is if you've never had a backstory before. Kaido got a backstory.
Yeah.
So what more is there to add? The only precedent that we have of someone getting a secondary backstory in a different arc. But Sanji's was both his backstory. So even then it don't make sense. It still don't make sense. It doesn't.
No.
It just doesn't make sense to me. It's like you're gonna see Kaido, but you're not gonna get enough from Kaido in that Rocks flashback to justify Wano. You're not. There's no way you can justify. It's too late. It's done.
Then we have another 2 from Mr. Bushido. I think he's saying what's next for Momo. I think Yamato dies for him. What? Yamato dying for Momo is insane.
I mean, I could see it, but
I guess like the most likely reason for something like that is someone going after Pluton, huh? Like Blackbeard going to Wano for Pluton and then Yamato dying for Momo. That would be crazy. Damn. Do you see okay, what are your thoughts on Caribou? Let me ask you that. Is he gonna talk to Blackbeard? Is Blackbeard gonna go to Wano? Like how do you feel about Caribou and the ancient weapons?
Blackbeard would be the obvious choice, right? And then people are saying that Caribou has he left? Have we seen him outside of Wano since?
He got captured at a marine base in which his brother saved him at.
And his brother saved him.
Yeah.
And then he's just kind of sailing randomly now?
Yeah, he sailed away when he got saved. And then I forgot what exactly happened, but he ended up in the Wano prison. I think he got beat up and captured or something like that. He could be talking to Crocodile and maybe that'll be...
Him going...
Caribou for Crocodile.
So here's a theory that was interesting. That I heard. I think I might have heard it from Dak. He was talking about Kaido still being alive, but digging underground, I guess, right? And you know how he believes that Pluton is